Hi, and welcome to this episode of The Dating Couch.
I'm Jacqui, dating expert for over 50s.
And I'm Melinda, dating coach and mentor.
Today we're going to be talking about the dating journey for you over 50s and how we can help you. So where do we start?
Well, I'll jump in here, Jacqui, if I may.
Okay.
So we tend to help clients in all stages of their dating journey, but we also start with them, I guess, before they even get to that point. What we found is a number of clients will come to us and they think they want to start dating because that's what all of their well-meaning friends and family tell them they should be doing because time has passed or what have you, and they need to move on, but they aren't really ready. When people find themselves single in mid to later life through whatever reason, whether it's bereavement, divorce, breakup, they all go through a grieving process. They're grieving for the life they thought they would have and the love they've lost. And the grieving process and time scale is different for every person.
Yeah, we were just discussing this morning, weren't we? It's like based on so many different criteria of the person, the relationship that they had with the person, was it a quick and unexpected bereavement, or was it a lengthy drawn out bereavement? So many different factors. So as Melinda said, she will not give any advice for when there is a correct time.
No, there is no correct time. It's whenever you feel ready. And the grieving process is as individual to a person as their fingerprint, and a person never grieves the same way twice. So we can help them navigate this process and help them to take the time that they need to get themselves dating ready, and however long that takes. We'll also help them to find what they love. As sometimes in a relationship, it's really easy for someone to lose the things that they used to like doing because they found new things that they like doing with their partner, and their individual hobbies have fallen along the wayside somewhere.
They forget sometimes their strengths, or even new strengths that they've gained, and they think, oh gosh, I'm just like a older person now, and I haven't got, but when they dig in, which is what you help them do, then they realize there's a lot more to them than they can remember.
I think that's it. And it's a lot of times when you've been part of a couple for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you come out of that and you don't know how to be a single person. You don't know how to not have to consider somebody else in all of your decisions and that thing. So it can be quite a trying time for some people. But we can help them to find what brings them joy again and introduce new things into their life that will help them feel more centered and more comfortable with themselves before they move forward. And that's really important distinction, is it's you move forward, you don't necessarily move on, and that's okay. We also work on barriers and boundaries that they have, and we'll cover this in a future episode, because it's one of my biggest passions,
and actually
my soapbox.
And until it's something that you have brought to me as well, as to identifying the barriers that make the boundaries that stop you from moving forward. And now it's just like such a big thing,
it is.
And obviously once you work on those things, which sound a bit cliched, you actually free up the space to go and meet someone.
Absolutely. And so you can ensure that what you're looking for in a new partner is actually what you need when you look at those barriers and boundaries, and just not what you think you need or what you want. So we talk through your values, what's important to you, and also to help challenge your preconceptions and whether your list of wants and needs in a partner is actually that, or a barrier that you're putting in place because you're too scared to put yourself out there. Sometimes it's easier to say there's no one out there for you, or you'll never find that person that meets your whole shopping list because of this, because of that, because of the other. But actually, we do that sometimes rather than face the fear and get ourselves out there dating.
Yeah, absolutely. And so moving on from that, I totally fully agree with everything Melinda's just said. This is probably just we're sitting in very close contact here. And I fully agree. And so much of what she's saying is important before entering the dating world, midlife or later in life. Yes, in your 50s, you feel slightly, I'm still, 50s and you're 30 as such. But once you get into your 60s, you do become a lot more set in your ways. And your 70s as well. You're young, 70s and you're 21.
Absolutely.
But you need to evaluate firstly your state of mind. You know, where are you now? You know, what sort of frame of mind? And we were talking about this earlier as well. What sort of frame of mind you go out there in, and you need to be physically and mentally in good shape. Because otherwise you're going to have a car crash of meeting people and setting yourself back. So obviously we deal with this. We have resources on our website. We provide so much free resources to everyone because this is very important to us. Also have in mind what type of relationship that you want. And I'll touch on this a wee bit further on down. Because also it's very important as well, and fair for you and fair for the person
you'll be meeting.
Yeah. So dating past the age of 50, wow, it's a very ticket from me. Still got the t-shirt. It's a very different experience than that of when we were in our 20s and 30s.
Yeah, very.
And you're 10 years younger than me. It's just so different. There's hardly anything that resembles dating.
It changed so much, hasn't it?
Yes,
everything's changed.
We're all guilty, myself included, that, you know, when I go out, I talk about this all the time. If I go to a coffee shop and by myself, I get my coffee, a cake, I'm not on my diet, and I sit down and I fire up my phone, and that's it. Head down, looking at my phone. So I'm not giving myself the opportunity to make eye contact with someone, smile at them and say hello. Same when I'm walking the dogs, head down. And I think the pandemic brought a lot of that. When everybody was out walking, it was we put our heads down. So we need to get back in that frame of mind that we, you know, like open up ourselves to opportunities. So it's different, but there are ways. Again, I've just touched on those couple of things, but there are so many other ways that you can get out there and open up your opportunities organically to meet people. But also what we were looking for, what I was looking for in my 20s, because I was married in my 30s, it was very different from what I'm looking for now. In fact, it doesn't bear any resemblance. So you need to have a rethink. To be more successful, it's good to have a rethink, be as open-minded. Melinda touched there upon, which we will go into in a lot of more detail, about your values and your core values. More than that, we can have a lot of values, but it's the core values that are important for you too. And we'll give you an exercise on how to work on figuring out your 5 non-negotiable core values, so that you're not relationship shopping as it is these days. That's what online dating has done for relationships, new relationships, is that you get on and you shop and you swipe left if you don't like it. That was right, left. If you don't like the color of the shirt he was wearing, or I don't like the way she styles her hair, or he's got a squint in his eye, or she is just like not sitting in that chair properly.
There's a lot of disposability around online dating, isn't it? And
there is.
That can bleed into
which we
in-person dating, and that's something we come up against quite a lot.
Yes, and that culture of online dating and what it puts in your mind is very, very hard to shift, because you're setting yourself a parameter, really. Height, culture, what they do, all these things are not important to the person that may love you for the rest of your life. So we will again touch on that today, but again, that will be another podcast in its own right. Online dating, the pitfalls, the pluses. People do meet people online, but we will run a podcast where we will show you how to use it in the best possible way and how to stay safe.
It's very important.
And also, you may have had some great experiences and some not so great experiences from dating so far. But you just maybe need to every now and again take a wee step back and tweak your approach. Again, go back to looking at your values, looking at what, again, we'll go back to the parameters that you set. Maybe they need to be moved.
And I think a lot of people as well forget that you say you may have some great experiences and some not great experiences. And I think because it's been so long, when you get to in your 50s, 60s and 70s, been so long perhaps since you've dated, if you dated in your teens and your 20s, you tend to forget that it was the same then. You know, you had some great experiences, you had some not so great dates, you know, and I think it's realizing that will happen. Like you say, you may not go out on your first date and find someone that's your forever partner. Thank you, Disney.
Yes, exactly. But the secret is to keep it and enjoy, is to keep enjoying it, and not to go out with like, I need to find a partner, I need to find a partner, and then you get yourself anxious, you start to look desperate, and that exudes from you, you know, you can't hide it. Learn new things about yourself and how you're growing as a person now, you know, as a single later in life. But we get when the most of what's holding our new daters back are some insecurities, and we try to work with them. Again, we have the resources online, and if you're just entering the dating arena, again, some of the insecurities, and you might actually be able to relate to these, are, and this is just a couple, is that they actually sometimes feel too old, and that, you know, who is going to love them again.
And there's a lot of preconceptions about that, isn't it? Oh, well, you know, people of my age don't date.
No,
you know, yes, they do.
And I'm not attractive, I'm too old, and well, you know, that's, you know, probably something that I deal with as well. But they don't think they'll find someone like-minded, you know, that can be on the same page as them. And we get that every so often, but you, again, everything comes back to the values, to what's non-negotiable and what is negotiable. And also there's a feeling that they may feel, again, if you have divorced, separated, or never been in a long time, it's always that, oh, I'm starting over again, I'm going on another date, am I going to fail at this one? But it's there with the right attitude and the right approach, you can make it happen. And that is, we've seen it, and you can make it happen. And the last one I'm going to touch on today, which would be probably the biggest insecurity, is sex. A lot of people do not even approach the dating game because they have no idea. They don't know what the expectation from a new partner would be. It's such a touchy subject, or it's just, we get asked it all the time, or it's something that we get sent in by people to ask anonymously, you know, how do I address this? There's so many issues. That's definitely a podcast on its own.
Definitely.
But all these insecurities, they're all reasonable, aren't they, Melinda? And understandable.
Absolutely.
Understandable. Dating is hard work, and the odds are you won't go on one date, fall in love, and live happily ever after, because, as Melinda said, Disney might have led us to believe the story, but it doesn't exist.
No.
So I suppose the best advice we could give, well, the best advice we give our clients, and we can give you that's watching this podcast, is to not set yourselves up for failure by imagining that dating will immediately provide you with endless lists of great possibilities. And we do get that from our clients, and we have to manage that. It's a journey where you will meet imperfect people just like us and everyone else on this planet. Approach dating in this new world with a relaxed and open-minded approach. And as I mentioned earlier, if you use the experience to gain knowledge about dating and yourself, you will eventually find someone who's drawn to you. And you know what? We've seen it happen. They may become the most important person in your life for this chapter that you are now in. A whole new chapter they could be. And I go back to when I said, be mindful of what you're actually looking for. And what I mean by that, do you want a companion, a husband, a wife, a lover, or a partner? Do you want them to live with you? Do you want to live separately? Oh, that could change anyway. But have a good, sound idea of what you want. It's good for you, and it's good for the people that you want to date. Okay, I've done a lot of talking today, Melinda.
No, I was just going to say as well, you know, the way that we work in a way that we support people through this whole process, and it isn't just about getting them out dating. So, you know, as a coach and mentor, I'll pop in and out of the process as needed. So, you know, I'll offer coaching throughout the process, whether that's deep work that you might want to work on, or just some confidence building before you go out on a first date with someone. And you know, sometimes as well, having that coach there to unpick what happened on the date. You know, a lot of people can come back from a first date and go, oh, I did awful, I did this, they'll be thinking that, they'll be thinking this. And just having like someone like a coach there to unpick that with you, making you realize that it's not as bad as you think it is.
Things that you work with them on, you know, when you say, you know, they're listening, you know, the communication, it sounds really silly that we would tell people, but it's that thing that you work with them on, you know, it's listening, being interested, all those little things that, you know, maybe because we're nervous, we go off on one and we just start blah, 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 blah. And before you know it, half an hour's gone and the person's just sitting there looking at you, wondering for you to finish. So it's all them little tips that are amazing and do work. And
a lot of that is down to confidence. So, you know, we'll go through all of that. And it's, I always see myself as somebody's like personal cheerleader throughout the day. You know, we can help big them up. And also, like I said, you can come off a date and you can think, oh my God, it was awful, it was this, it was that, it was the other, they would have been thinking this, they would have been thinking that. And sometimes having someone to go, well, is that actually how it was, or could it have been this way? And just kind of, you know, helping you understand why things happened,
and providing the feedback that you know, it's not as bad as they thought it was going to be.
So I guess we'll link our website below in the show notes, but as Jacqui mentioned earlier, we will be adding lots of resources to help you with everything we've covered and more over the coming months, really. So we want to be able to give you those resources to be able to help. So thanks for coming to sit with us on the dating couch.
Yes, it's been lovely to have you here today, and we are looking forward to having you again. And what, 2 weeks time?
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, and have a lovely weekend. Where it'll be Sunday night by the time this goes out.
Yeah.
Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.